about addressing this problem?
So we have been focused on this really for the last 5 years. I think since the Paradise fire in California really opened a lot of people's eyes as to the risks. Not only the utilities being aware of the risk, but also commissions being aware of the risk and what they could do to focus the utilities on this. So we started in about 2019, 2020, asking the utilities to prepare wildfire plans similar to plans that California had required. Now, we don't have the full state structure that California has or the statutory, structure they have. So we have fewer staff and fewer resources to devote to it. But we asked the utilities to file plans with us, talking about how they are approaching this risk. And so there's a lot of communication among the utilities across the West and across the country to look at how do you do this, starting in California and now in Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Colorado. So requiring them to file plans, and then we would have a session where we would sit down with the utilities and talk through their plans. They'd tell us what they were doing, what they're looking to do next. We'd ask questions. We'd have other members of the state emergency management team come in and ask questions to make sure that they're addressing, how are they addressing the risk? How are they thinking about mitigating that risk? What are the technologies they're thinking about using? What are the operating practices they're thinking about using? What sort of engagement are they having with the communities that are most at risk? How are they sharing their plans for doing a public safety power shutoff? Or how are they thinking about using the fast trip reclosers on the lines to, if there is a risk? How are they using other fault sensing technologies? What are they doing to harden the grid with covered conductor or undergrounding or covered poles? A lot of utilities now use cameras or different vegetation management tools, combining AI. There's a number of different companies out there that use a combination of sort of sensing and cameras and AI to sort of not only identify what the current risk is, but compare over time using weather monitoring and situational awareness tools so that they can see what's happening quickly and respond. Those are some of the things we've been doing and really trying to make sure the utilities stay active. We now have new legislation. A few years ago, all the utilities are now required to have wildfire plans. We are the ones who review the wildfire plans for the investor-owned utilities, and our Department of Natural Resources looks at the plans for the consumer-owned utilities. We have new legislation from last year where we actually need to approve the utilities plans, and we're working on a rulemaking on that. For those of you that are interested, NARUC has been working on a wildfire workbook over the last year. If you look at NARUC's website under the core, I think it's core topics and then critical infrastructure, we're almost done publishing this workbook. It's in 7 chapters, and it's sort of a virtual book. You can flip the pages, and it talks through all these topics, and it links to various wildfire plans, various papers or analyses of wildfire. The Pacific Northwest National Labs has done a database of wildfire plans from across the country. So we're using this tool to help educate regulators and anyone, state officials on the risks, the financial risks of wildfire, and then various mitigation techniques and what different utilities are doing to respond. So we know it's a national issue. It's not just a Western issue, but there's also information about technologies that are being used. And there's been quite a few technologies that have been developed and are really helping both for the monitoring, situational awareness, early alerting, and then the AI modeling of, how is it changing, looking at weather forecasting. So there's a lot out there on wildfire, and we've been in the state, we're working on it, and and nationally working on it as well.